The Game Boy is a brick of all time. Anyway, so not wasting any more time, let's just go into the Game Boy released in 1989 because Nintendo already dominated the home console market in the 80s, so they decided to take over the handheld market with the Game Boy. Wow, that's insane, people. Anyway, so how are they going to do this? I know there's already like a lot of handhelds, so how are they going to stand out for the crowd? Well, by packing. Yeah, Tetris was packed in. That basically just sold the system. Basically Tetris was the most popular puzzle game at the time. And like everybody was, and if you wanted to play a puzzle game, you had to play Tetris. And then bundling in it with the Game Boy for free basically sold the whole system. Anyways, of course, as a game console, it is obviously gonna have. Yeah, this thing has some competition. The main competition was with the Atari Lynx and the Sega Game Gear. Now, the Game Boy sold out more than them, easily. Even though the systems were more powerful. Like, the Game Gear and Atari Lynx, they both had color and had a backlight, which the Game Boy did not have. But, basically, this is how the whole thing played out. Yeah. The main reason why the Game Boy sold more is because, first off, it was cheaper. The Atari Lynx and the Sega Game Gear were like $200 or something. The Game Boy was $80. Okay, and also, the Game Boy just had better games in general. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Listen, okay, I have a bad stutter. Anyways, we can't talk about the Game Boy without mentioning the... Yeah, it had some pretty good games. Like, it started this little franchise called Pokemon. It had, 2 Mario Lands. Wow, this is the best console ever. It had Zelda, started Kirby, Metroid. But nothing to compare whenever kits exist yet. And finally, the remodels. Basically in 1996, Nintendo realized that, oh yeah, people don't want to be playing the same old brick. It's been like 7 years. So they released the Game Boy Pocket, which only takes 2 AA batteries instead of 4. Yes, the original Game Boy took 4 AA batteries. Holy crap. That's a lot of batteries, Nintendo, don't you think? And then, 2 years later, they released the Game Boy Light, which gave the Game Boy a backlight. They took the Game Boy Pocket and gave it a backlight, basically. Nintendo, it's been 9 years and you finally added a backlight? You already have 3D gaming. What the frick? What? Okay, whatever. And it only released in Japan? Nintendo, what are you tripping on? Anyways, that was the Game Boy. Oh, it also released in 1996? Sonic 3D Blast!